Man, when was the last show we did? Tuesday?
Tuesday, the live show.
Tuesday at Goodfellas?
Yep. Not much has happened in between, Tom.
Jeez. We got so much to recap on. I know a lot of it's been talked about, but we're going to talk about it anyway. We really need to get into yesterday's game. We don't, do we? It's terrible. Can we catch a freaking ball?
Yeah, man.
I mean,
the only thing I would talk about is from the game was my experience, but other than that, like
we can get to that.
There's
can
really
get to that,
nothing to like.
I mean, the game itself is like I didn't think Trevor played bad. I actually thought he played okay, and then there were. I don't know. I think officially there were 3 drops, but realistically there was more like 6, and they were all big play. Like the James Robinson drop on the screen would have gone forever, and he just flat out drops it. And Treadwell had a drop or 2, and I don't know. It's frustrating, but as the season ended right now, you got the number 1 pick again. So I guess that's good.
Well, right now we're
back to back.
We're competing,
baby.
We're competing
back to back.
See, you guys, you didn't understand what Urban's purpose was here.
Well,
Urban was thinking
to fondle young girls.
That too. Well, he never got over that old man stage. Some people always, some people say, hey, you haven't had enough in that life or you haven't gotten over it. I'm going to train my son to be more like you.
More like me?
Yeah, like in that aspect. Because you brought up something like this is a theme that you said a couple times we were on radio. We haven't said it in this setting, but you can't miss what you never really went out and had. You are honorable, like you married.
Correct.
We
don't need to go all the way back into that again, but go ahead.
But yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you can't, like, I think that's dope. Like, you save yourself from Urban Meyers of the world trying to teach long snap. I mean, not long snapping. Definitely wasn't long snapping. Under center at the bar.
Close and personal quarterback sneak. Yeah, it was.
That's exactly the best way to describe it. That's what I'm gonna call it now. The old QB sneak.
It's just so bad, man. It's just like I don't know. I thought that maybe, and I think it looked better, but they were also playing Houston.
That's what I think. And part of it was like, because I when I was there, it was great. The touchdown from James Robinson was like right in my face. You had the guy who stormed the field in the end zone, which when I go back and think about it, he really could have been like infamous if we were good. Like, was it the Chicago guy, like who the Cubs fan who went and got the ball?
Oh, yeah.
Because he was on the field before the ball was snapped. They should have blown the play dead. But, it doesn't matter when you're not any good and you're not playing for anything. It doesn't matter. But, like, I was like, wow, they're actually looking competitive. Like, maybe it was Urban. But then I thought about it. This is a battle for the worst. This is a battle for the worst team in the National Football League, and we're winning.
And a team that had like 7 guys out for COVID.
Right.
That's like crazy.
I was really mad because
Herbs is a special team guy, so maybe that's where we missed Herbs.
I was trying to go because we were on where I was sitting. I was on the Texas sideline. I was in DeMarcus plays for the Texans, and I'm DeMarcus Walker, local Jacksonville kid, played at Florida State. Yeah, that's where he signed this year. But he's been hurt the last couple of weeks, and I didn't find out until I got there. So I'm like, telling my son, we're going to at least get a chance to meet a real NFL football player. He's met plenty of Jags players, but I mean like a real NFL guy.
Man, that's mean. Jeez.
But, I go get a cold one. Cold brew, a refreshing adult beverage.
Okay.
Thinking, we just scored. That's all right. Nothing's really going to happen. Just a kickoff. And then I missed the return. And I'm like, damn.
It's all right.
Then I'm like, we suck.
Right. We really do. Suck. That's just the only way to put it, man. It's so depressing. It's like, I don't know. We had talked about doing, a post-game show yesterday since it was the start of the Bevel era.
Yeah.
But then about halfway through that game, it's like, what? I mean, a Jaguar themed show is so hard to do right now because they're just so stinking bad.
People would have just wanted to come and just
Yell.
yell and crap on. This is where you need where we would have been more suitable for radio. But even this was like, I'm telling you, like when I go in and have to do the news, it's at 11:30. Like it's a long day. Even though I took a really solid nap, one of them good drools, because I only stayed for the first half of the game. The rest of the game put me to sleep. So
Well, and it rained.
But like you need the phone calls to kind of drive it because you can only say somebody's really bad.
Well, that's just
so
it.
many ways.
You know, I mean, people want to break down what's going on and what's happening, and is it this? Is it that? Is it Trevor? Is it? It really is as simple as
everybody.
It's just a bad roster with a bad culture that used to losing. It really does come down. It's that simple. It's you can't. Them beating Buffalo, I think like that it was almost bad in a way because Buffalo went on a little bit of a skid. Like they didn't play well. The defense is okay. The offense is horrendous. The special teams yesterday was high schoolish. And it's just what it is in Jacksonville. Like that's the Jacksonville Jaguars right now. And there's no way to say it differently than that. It's just a bad football team. I get asked all the time, well, what would you do different? Well, you can't do anything different at this point. Like, and that's kind of a silly. It's hard to insult coaches that only win 2 games, but you're insulting coaches when you're like, oh, is this fixable right now? If it was fixable, they would have already. Like they want to win worse than y'all want them to win. I promise you that. It's not like they're sitting there drawing up plays that won't work. It's just they're not working with the players they have.
Nobody's going through that much time in dedication to like want to walk away with an L. Like it's a lot of effort.
Time after time. It is sad, man. But the good news is, and we're gonna get to Urban Meyer now, but the good news is it is Christmas week. I am not in the Christmas spirit, which if you listen to our show for any time, you know that I'm a Christmas guy. But things have just been so stinking busy, man. But ABC is going to help me get in that spirit. One way or the other. I've watched a total of 2 Hallmark Christmas movies. Actually, I've watched 1.5 because I don't count the Minority one. I do not count that. So I've watched 1.5 Hallmark Christmas movies. So I told Angie, I'm like, all right, we're going to go to ABC. I'm going to get some good whiskey, and I'm just going to shut my brain off. That's what they're good for, by the way.
But yeah, they're so bad, like that they're good. They're mind numbing. It's just good, like background. It's almost like background noise.
Yeah, it's like golf.
Right, but oh man, speaking of golf,
oh, we got to get into Charlie. We got to get into Charlie Woods.
That might be my new favorite.
Oh, there's no doubt. My TikTok feed is all Charlie Woods stuff.
Right, it's like a redemption story for Tiger.
I know.
Oh, okay, so I haven't watched
the ABC screen real quick.
Yeah, we gotta get that. I know you don't like Marvel. I know you don't like comics and stuff like that. But it's almost like watching like the old Spider-Man teach the new Spider-Man like how to become It is not. See, this is the nonsense that I'm talking about. This is what I was on my rant on Twitter about. My bad. I wanted to save this for my 8 o'clock, but this right here is ridiculous. These simps simping on wax out here talking about giving women everything. My son's your sons are going to have to take women on dates. It's $20 for one ticket. Remember when I went to the movies, my mom gave me $20 and I got my girl a ticket. I got me a ticket, a little bit of popcorn. And you know what I was able to do? Save $3 to go get me a milkshake from Steak and Shake because that's where my high school girlfriend lived next to. It was a better time. We were a proper country. We were a good nation, that's Christian just nation.
For the ticket? One ticket.
You haven't even bought anything. I don't care
what they have.
It's 20. Oh my God.
$20. I would have guessed like 12.
It's only $200 to rent out the theater.
It is.
You get 10 of your friends, and it's all y'all. It's more than 10 seats in the movie theater. You get like 20 seats. 20. Well, they say 20, but you can fill out more. It's that is $20. Ridiculous.
That's wow.
Trey, they taking you days, bro. Know your worth, King. No. Okay. 7. Okay. We can do that.
I mean,
I can do that. Now, that's gonna be the strategy. This is the strategy, man. Hey,
you got a 3 p.m. curfew.
I think Bailey's the girl. Dad, can I take Bailey to the movies? Better be before 11 a.m., son. No, you said 11 p.m. or morning.
No,
yeah, it better be 11 a.m. You ain't taking. Better be back home 3 p.m. sharp, son. 3 p.m. sharp.
I want to get a little bit of Urban Meyer, and then I want to get a little bit into the Travis Hunter thing. And I know it's been talked to death, but I'm borderline, and we'll get to Charlie Woods as well. But I'm borderline obsessed with this experiment that Travis Hunter is going on right now.
You're upset?
Obsessed.
Okay.
Yeah. Obsessed about it. But first, let's get to Herbs real quick. I don't buy that the kick is what did him in.
I don't buy that he kicked him.
In fact, I'm very disappointed. You don't buy that he kicked him? I do. Man, I buy that it was like a little.
If he kicked him, then he proves my theory that kickers aren't people. Because if he got kicked by another grown man, and it wasn't a fist thrown he kicks professionally. Like I would think the professional ass kicker would be able to at least kick back. You have a lawsuit.
Can we really talk about what I mean? Listen, Urban. We only know what we heard that Urban has done. He needed to be fired. He needed to be canned. They need to go. But however, this kind of goes along with what you're talking about, $20 movies and all that kind of stuff. Like the times are different, bro, because I heard my coaches tell assistant coaches that they sucked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I heard that coming up and nobody ever thought anything about it. Like that I don't understand really outside of the well-executed quarterback sneak inside of a bar in Cincinnati right in front of a picture of him and his wife. What did Urban do besides lose? Besides lose. Like what are we really talking about?
I think what he got, it was accumulation and it just didn't. It was accumulation and they're trying to fire him with cause, but I really believe just from not doing your job well. Like, let's just look at what you just talked about a few minutes ago. Like when people ask, what could you do better with this roster? And you said nothing.
Right.
He gutted this roster. Mm-hmm. It wasn't very talented before, but he got rid of some decent pieces that you could at least do something with. Urban. Like there's a lot. That's a good point. He didn't. I would say under his watch, and it's probably why not Bevel.
No, I'm legit asking.
Yeah,
outside of Gardner, who did they get rid of that was any good the year before?
No, I don't mean like right now when you get injured, when you could just have a functional player coming in. I think that helps. Now, those are the guys that we ain't gonna buy their jerseys, but he brought in an influx of talent that he felt. The guys who are here are the guys that he picked, whether it be draft picks, whether it be through free agency, and then you have a huge windfall with your free agent, not free agent, which is salary cap.
Uh-huh.
So the roster is a direct reflection of what you chose and your general manager chose. That's why you're here. That's what, like, we wouldn't have been able to get all the top guys because, again, at the end of the day, they had to choose to come here. But we didn't even really make an attempt. We didn't really make many splashes. We heard about rumors of Alex Smith. I think Alex Smith going to Cowford Chop House to eat was like the most enthusiastic thing that we have, knowing we were going to go get
Cowford's
Trevor.
good, bro.
I see, man. It's
good.
Packed. I tried to go 2 Fridays ago.
You haven't been?
No, I still haven't been. It looked like really nice,
man.
But
like the steak the size of your head.
I just think that's the problem, is that we look at the roster, it's not good. We look at the offense, feels like it lacks ingenuity. We got this kid that's a generational talent that we all believe is going to make the roster better just by being here, and it's not.
So are you saying if he'd have done everything,
the linebacker that we traded, I don't know if why they got rid of him, if it wasn't a fit, but I know he's in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah,
and they're winning.
Yeah.
I was one of the guys that we paid a bunch of money.
No, that's true.
And bragged about.
That's true. Are you saying though, because this is what I'm saying, if everything would have happened off the field that happened, but they had 7 wins,
without a doubt, he's still
there would have never been any conversation of fire. My point being, he got fired because
he's not any good.
He's losing.
Yeah. Well,
however you want to carve it up.
I'm gonna tell you this: if he doesn't, we don't have that Katie Couric style interview on First Coast News with a kicker if he's winning. Nobody cares about your opinion of a guy who's not on the team anymore. So I mean, but it's salacious right now because it's just I'm reminded of Taggart, and this isn't like he got fired too because he wasn't any good. But some of the stories that came out, I'm like, come on, man. Like, people were like, oh, well, they're not good. He got fired because he was doing drugs. One person said cocaine. And I said, time out.
Willie?
Thank you. I said, time out. I said, time out, dog. Time out. Yeah, he does cocaine. He plays with. I said, bro, have you ever seen a person who does cocaine? One thing they have, like, now, I'm not suggesting that he does it. Now, if you said Mike Norvell did cocaine,
correct, yeah,
I would believe you. And not because Mike's doing anything bad.
That was White Mike?
White Mike? Well, that's exactly what I call him. Miguel Blanco. But the reason why is because he's got a ton of energy. Willie was just calm. Now, if you told me he smoked like an entire pound before practice.
Oh, yeah.
But it's, even though it's legal in the state, it's still not federally legal, and you can't be a state employee and do it. All you got to do is give him a urine test and fail, and then you got to pay him. It's just like I was telling you, some of the stories that were coming out are easy to defute, but it's hard if you're defending them. It just feels like you're defending them on his side.
Yeah, you couldn't. It got to that point, right, where you couldn't defend.
And that's what I'm saying. Like but it was fueling message boards. There were articles. Right, the clicks were great because you just saw this guy nosedive a big time program. So right now, Urban, all this fanfare, never been a loser, all these things. So now, what can you do? I mean, saying, hey, it just didn't work doesn't get you clicks. It doesn't get you any excitement, but saying that it didn't work because he was dysfunctional. Think about reality TV, Love and Hip Hop, Real Housewives of whatever city, Mob Wives. All these re-splashes are all the same script. Drama, catfighting. And that's going to always get you clicks. And it's all about clicks at this day and age.
Yeah, the Urban situation, one sec, Bob. I don't think I think it's easy to say he got here and realized he didn't want to do this. I think that's easy to say, but I don't think that's the case. I think what really truly happened, because I thought Urban was going to work. So I want to make sure I was one of the guys that was super excited, and it was like, okay, now we're heading in the right direction. But what it made me even do was realize the massive difference between the NFL and college. And it's not even like the style of play. It's the style of leadership, the style of management. And more importantly than that is the absolute necessity that it is to have guys who've done it before right there with you. And a ton of them.
I think like not just on your staff. That's big. But think about, and I was explaining this to somebody earlier today. It's the lack of veteran presence that I think also did him in.
Yeah, I agree.
Because veterans, like if you play for Belichick, if you play for whoever, you've had asshole coaches before, but they win. So you kind of like, all right, I'm gonna let this roll off, whatever. You ain't gonna talk to me but so many kind of what times that way, but I get it. We're trying to win. I don't care. All I need you to do is pay me. They're able to help a rookie like Trevor and all these other guys tune out the bad stuff, learn how to be a professional.
Because Trevor
properly.
was the face. He's the face right now, to your point.
Right.
Like there is somebody to help him tune out. He's having to speak for it.
Right. And that's an issue. You want your coach to be the one that's more mature, because I am not. I was going back and looking at the cool thing. I always say this. The cool thing about Facebook is they have this thing called On This Day. So Facebook tells you like 10 years ago what you were saying. So like people think I'm like this whole the standard is the standard thing. I've been saying this for 8 to 10 years because it would show me what I said this day. And this thing I said about 10 years ago yesterday, and I remember it because when I was coaching at Ponte Vedra, somebody told me that those kids you couldn't get results out of those kids. But I had been training them for a while. I said, kids will rise or fall to your level of expectations and standards on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, they may not always reach your standard, but if it's high enough and they like you enough, they believe in you enough, they're going to strive to get to it.
That's right.
Even if they fail, it's way higher than if you lower the standard for them. Because if you lower the standard, they're going to meet the standard. So you always have that. So when I hear people say, you can't talk to kids this way. No, I've heard coaches talk to kids. It's a difference. They respect what that person is saying to them. So Urban probably coached the same way he's been coaching. But when you drop 4 games or when you ain't winning and you don't have anything else to hook them in and all you do is berate them, ain't nobody listening to that. Now they've tuned out to you. Now they lose respect for you. And I think when he really lost the team, it's not because he went and did the QB sneak play. Yeah. It has nothing to do with that. That's between him and his wife. We have no idea what arrangements they have. I'm not going to put my morality on their relationship. What he should have done was take that plane back with the team.
That's right. Yep. And
then do whatever you want to do on your own time, like all the other players did. You can't preach team first, this, and then you don't hop the plane with them back. You hop the plane and go get some tail. Like,
It definitely took a situation that I feel like there were a lot of players who was giving him the benefit of the doubt, even though they didn't want to. There was a lot of doubt, and it just eliminated that doubt. Mm-hmm. And it was at that point that I think is when he truly did lose the team. To your point, not because he had his hand halfway up some blonde's ass, but because of what you just said. They looked at it and was, how are we gonna listen to this guy? Right. Like, how are we supposed to listen to this guy's? This guy's literally not coming on the plane with us. I'm out. And at that point, like, what are you going to do?
Because it's accountability. At some point, like if it would have happened, like I always tell people, if it would have happened to me, like if I would have done that when I was playing, I would have got cut. I wouldn't even got a call. I would have just got like a text. But
James Robinson wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Well, here's the other thing.
Then the way he handled the James Robinson situation, and then the interview didn't help. That he just did where he apologized. Basically, he said
it was his decision.
It was his decision, but you've been saying it wasn't the whole time.
We've all been in those relationships where it's like you want a relationship, and it could be business, friend, spouse, whatever. You want it to work, but something happened early that was like it eliminated so much trust that it's just not worth it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's not worth having to overcome that lack of trust. That's what happened here. That's what I feel like, the combination of losing and that it was going to take 2 years of winning for Shad Khan to ever be able to trust Urban Meyer again. Because it was just what we heard. I mean, think about things we didn't hear that was going on in that locker room, which is probably tenfold from what we heard. At the end of the day, when you're dealing with a billionaire, if he can't trust you, he can't keep you. Right. It's that simple. And if your players can't trust you, you can't be around.
And I think that's the biggest thing. It's not the obviously losing.
You know what it is? It's turd of talent on a coaching level.
Fair. Yeah. It wasn't worth it.
It was, exactly.
You got a guy who, like I always say, the locker room culture or whatever, it's a new locker room every year, unless there's a consistent thing. And like where losing happens, it's contagious, unfortunately, just like winning is contagious. Mm-hmm. Once you get out the season, you reset, you come back, you can do whatever. But when you start feeling like favoritism or true politics. There are politics in every locker room. It doesn't matter, but like something as simple as your guy comes in, and i.e. Carlos Hyde, and you got a running back that everybody in the league respects as a top running back right now, and you know it's only a limited window, but this guy does one bad thing, and you don't even help him through it. You not only bury him under the roster basically because you're not giving him carries, you also lie about it week after week, and you do everything, like I said, except for play the man.
And he never fumbled until Urban got here.
That part.
That's the thing. Like, he's not like he's a guy that fumbles a lot. He literally never fumbled until this year. Crazy. No, I don't think he fumbled out of spite. You do have to question coaching, though. You do have to question because James, you would know better than this, but there's things like in the quarterback world, I'm going to assume it's the same way in the running back world, that if you don't work every single day, you get super comfortable with and you almost forget about it. It becomes like walking, right? So for quarterbacks, it's like, I say this all the time, one of the hardest throws in football is a bubble because nobody ever works on it.
Right.
It's just the coach goes, it's an extended handoff. It should be there. And there's this whole quick hip flip thing, and it just makes it difficult. I would assume carrying the football is the same for a running back. If you don't work on ball security a certain type of way with a certain type of intensity most days, it just doesn't just happen.
Put it in perspective. Tiki Barber had a terrible problem fumbling the ball. They literally worked on it the entire offseason, and it changed. It's hand placement.
Is that when he went like super high?
Yep. Like, so guys, you're so right about stuff. God, it's people. Let your child be normal. I promise you. Like, just forget being an athlete. Like, I'm scarred with some stuff. Like, I literally, like, when you said that, all I heard was Billy Sexton. Tight to the tit.
Yep.
No daylight in the cavity. 2 hands in the thicket. Catch all pitches and passes with great eyeball concentration. He literally said this.
He said pitches and passes.
Pitches and passes.
That's so awesome.
Right.
I don't know what about that. Didn't that just sound cool?
It's every day.
Yeah.
When we started, like,
he worked on that.
The beginning of he coached. He coached like 20-something years.
Oh, he heard that.
Only running back. Maybe Bobby gave it to him. But we go in. We had to the beginning of camp, the beginning of fall camp, the beginning of spring ball. We had to show him that we had how we were either going to split the tip or one hand on it or one finger on it. Like, but you better have a good grip, and then 3 points of emphasis. 1, 2, 3. You got to be able to show him that. And if you fumbled it, he was going to put his foot in your ass, and you were going to run 10 stadiums all the way up to the top of Doak and back as one. And he's going to have a picture of how you held that ball to fumble it. So, like, it was just things that he drilled it in you. And also we would have running drills. So you inside drill, on air or whatever. He made the kickers because he was like, y'all not going to just sit here and play games and kick when we tell y'all to. So he have 2 stations. So 2 kickers to the left, 2 kickers to the right. When you break your run, get through it, score. So 20 yards downfield, because he's training you to break.
Right.
And you had to run through the kickers. And when you run through the kickers are trying to strip the ball from you while you're going through it. And he would tell the kickers, hey, for every strip, that's 1 less gasser you have. So they were trying to get the ball from you. And it was just.
Is that when Janikowski was there?
Nah, Janikowski was there 2 years before me.
I was going to say, I bet Janikowski could get the ball now.
But here's the funny part, right? So I played with Greg for 2 years.
Oh.
So imagine you trying to be
a normal kicker,
trying to strip the ball from a guy whose one arm was twice the size of mine. He's like a creature. Like, what do you guys think about the potential coaching hires, the leading candidates that came out?
Yeah, I was going to get into this. I think this is going to be interesting to see because let's not get this twisted. Trevor Lawrence is hiring your next coach. Absolutely. If Trevor, he's not hiring the next coach. He's going to need Trevor Lawrence's approval. There's a difference, right? Like, it's not like Trevor's going to go do the search and, hey, we got an interview and all that. But and that's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
If that is who your guy is going to be for the next 5 years, it needs to be somebody that Trevor's comfortable with. So when I think about that, there's one name, and I haven't talked to Trevor about this. I don't know. I'm thinking relationally with quarterbacks of the past. there's one name that keeps popping in my head, and that's Nate Hackett. Nate Hackett is the offensive coordinator for the Packers, which is not an easy thing to deal with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
He's done it beautifully. Nate Hackett, when you go around and you talk to every single quarterback in the NFL, and if you ask them, give me your top 5 coaches that you want to play for, he's going to be the consistent one in that top 5. Like every single one of them. It doesn't matter if you talk to A-Rod, if you talk to Blake Bortles, who played for him, he coached here, he's an OC here. He's ridiculously smart. He's going to be getting a head coaching job. With that being said, like I think he will be in the conversation. I'd be excited for him because I think he would bring a different energy. But there's also a part of me that's like really intrigued by dude at KC.
Oh, Bieniemy?
Bieniemy. And I haven't been. I've been against that. The last couple of years, I'm like, I don't want Bieniemy. Now, for whatever reason, I do. For whatever reason, now I do. But there's also that thing in the back of my head that's like, why has nobody hired him, though? Like, if he's been the tip of the tongue candidate for so long, what is it? What is it that's holding him back? I don't think the Byron Leftwich thing happens.
I hope not.
I don't think it does.
I hope not. No, and I don't mean like I know Tampa Bay fans are like, nah, we don't want, like, y'all can have him. I'm like, dude, like, there isn't an offensive coordinator that's just perfect. Like, it's a pro league. I mean, like, one thing defensive coordinators do a good job of is scheming guys up.
Right.
Like,
look at the Saints.
He's also got what do you tell Tom Brady when he's messing up?
I give him a check on that one though, because I think sometimes like it's harder to work with those guys.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think like if Tom Brady, if you said, Tom, why did you throw it there? Like, look, one, besides being a spoiled brat and a dick sometimes, but still ultimate competitor. Look what he did. Like, he's running around slamming tablets. Like, you can't. And then if you go and you knock out Tom Brady, now you're never getting the job. So like, so I like the fact that he's gone. He's got a super, like, his resume. When you really just look at his resume, it's an actual damn good resume. I just don't want him. More so for the long term stuff. I look at like, dog, you come here, you fail again, they're gonna run your ass out of here like they ran you out the last time. Bieniemy, for Byron and Bieniemy, I think if I knew more about what the real root cause was, because it's not just coaching and players here. Like, I don't know enough about back office stuff. Like, it's something that's rotten there in the Jags at TIA Bank that they haven't gotten out yet.
No, I agree.
And maybe it's the cons. I don't know, but you can't. It would be the first time in history that an owner fired himself. Like, nobody's giving up. Nobody's giving up this asset to say, you know what, Jacksonville?
Who are the people?
It was my fault. Like, I'm going to sell the team for the sanctity of Jacksonville, Florida. So like tweets,
but I'm keeping the wrestling.
Yeah, the tweets that everybody's saying, like, get over that. You're not getting rid of the team. So that's not even. But I liked the Jim Caldwell thing because Jim Caldwell's used to winning in a toxic environment.
Yeah,
but Jim Caldwell's also 66. And I also said I don't trust anybody with the last name Caldwell, so I have to really go back.
I don't even care about the age on this one. I just want the right guy. I don't even care about.
I think and then he's had experience working with a top quarterback. So he was with Matthew Stafford when he was young. I think he wouldn't be bad, but some of those other names, man. If they bring Dabo Swinney back, I will shoot somebody.
No, I don't want Doug Peterson.
Like
I just
like Doug won in 4 years.
Good for him.
You think he learned his lesson?
What lesson?
I mean, he was one, never draft Tebow. 2, or bring him on his because we just had a guy who just insisted on having it. But he just wasn't real. He was very young and immature when he got the job. But he was like, what, 32, 33 when he got the head coach's job?
I thought he did. Yeah. And the interesting thing about him is he's an offensive guy, but their defense was unbelievable when he was a Denver.
Of course, yes.
And
trust me, I remember it was my arguing point.
I think I'd rather him than Peterson.
See, I don't like Peterson.
I don't know why.
Won. That's what I'm saying.
I don't
Peterson
know why
actually
I don't
won.
like.
You know what it is?
Peterson
fired from Philly?
You know what?
I guess that would be my because he got fired relatively quick.
I think here's why I don't like Peterson. Because the last time that we put our faith in a Super Bowl winning asset
From Peterson
from the Eagles, it went horribly wrong.
Fair.
And I think I've got Foles and Peterson. I can't get them out.
Fair.
Who are some other ones? Are they? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good on
that. Okay. I mean, listen, Dabo Swinney's not happening. That's clickbait. That's not ever happening.
He's trying to get out.
I'm just telling y'all, watch for Nate Hackett. Just nobody's talking about him, but watch for Nate Hackett.
Wasn't he our OC here?
Yeah. Yeah, with Blake.
He was 17.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know, man.
He's
scares me too.
Well, here's the other reason.
I don't want any Jaguar stink, man. Like, get rid of just
he won with. I mean, that's
but
I just think that there's such a. We talked about this last week with Urban before they fired him. Of what are you going to do to get free agents here? And so now it's almost like you got to go. That's got to be part of your pitch, or that's got to be part of your requirement. Of you got to be, not just win, but you got to be a likable guy. You got to be a well-respected guy. You got to be a guy that when they make that hire, players go, "Oh, I'd like to play for him." Not that they have to be talked into it, but somebody that's got a history and references. And there's a little bit of me. Yes, it would be fantastic for me if Hackett got the job. He's a friend of mine. But I just have been around enough of these dudes that always bring him up. And it doesn't matter the position they play. It doesn't matter. Brian Moorman was talking about him, punter.
Okay.
Talking about how they are best friends now. That was a punter. And you talk to any receiver, running back, quarterback, anybody, everybody loves him. We worked together at the collective camp in Indianapolis in May, and he was phenomenal, dude. Absolutely phenomenal. But you want to get to Travis Hunter real quick?
Yeah.
By the way, ABC, get to ABC also. Get to ABC. It'll help you get through these holidays, man. We still got 3 games left. Jeez. Some decent football coming up. Now with the COVID stuff coming back, now you got football every night again.
Yeah, is it? Well, no, we got 2 nights off, right? It's 8 out of the next 10 days or something like that.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we got Wednesday.
Well, my bad. You know what? I'm wrong.
Yeah, because there's college football bowl games. Yeah.
That's NFL football. That's that.
Yeah. So get to ABC. Enjoy yourself over the holidays. Go ahead and get to executive for a second, because we're gonna talk about this. Deion Sanders has been, I feel like he's been at executive health.
When you look at it, but he's really into that kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Remember, Deion Sanders was bald for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, he got a fade, a crispy fade. Mm-hmm. Hairline's intact, hairline's not blemished, and it's not that Beijing stuff. That's where it came from. We're not going to talk about, but he's into restorative practices or holistic, not holistic, recovery
too. Yep. You need to do the same thing. Get to Northeast Florida Executive Health and Med Spa. New Year's coming up. If you're not feeling good, don't take that into 2022. Take a whole new energy into 2022. Get over there. Maybe you just need some testosterone. Maybe you need to recover better. Maybe your goal for 2022 is to be a little bit better in the bedroom than what you are right now. They can help you with that as well. I mean, they're not going to train you on it or anything like that. They're just going to give you the toolbox, if you will.
Right.
It's not a course, although
they've got the owners have other. No speculation.
No. They're not going to train you on it. It's not going to be a how-to video or anything like that.
Hey, speaking of which, I know we got to do some. Have you seen the guy who does the self-defense training videos? It's like Detroit survival tactics. If there's a gun behind your head and the guy does this and then he does the So and how people spook. I believe he might, a little bit of it might be true, but if we try to do it, we'll die. But imagine somebody doing that with sex ed though. Bedroom survival tactics. Things that just don't make sense. But
it's Northeast Florida Executive Health and Med Spa. So the big news that really took over the nation of college football or the landscape was Travis Hunter last year. Depending on the recruiting service, either the number 1 or number 2 prospect in the country, who was committed to Florida State for year and a half.
Basically,
Year and a half.
That was like for people who were into the whatever the Taggart Norvell camp, the guiding the one piece, two. Norvell got quarterbacks to commit, and then if he wasn't any good, why is the best player in the nation
Right.
staying with him? He bought it.
On signing day, there started to be rumblings about, oh, wait, he may not. Well, no, hold on, back up. There were rumblings for months.
Right.
But he would constantly, and this is the issue I'm having a little bit with Travis Hunter, he would constantly immediately go to social media and be all in on Florida State.
In his defense, he was, but it was who they were saying he's going to go to. But he did say, I'm going to Florida State.
He did. It wasn't
like
just, I'm not going to Georgia.
Like he's going to Georgia.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought in Georgia fought there to the end to try to get him to flip.
Oh, absolutely. So he ends up going to Jackson State to play for Deion Sanders. I don't have strong feelings about this at all. Like I don't know the kid. I don't really care enough. But I think for people who don't like it, I think it's unsettling for them because it's not just this. There's such a big shift going on in college football that if you're a college football fan, it's not comfortable. And I don't blame those people. Yeah, because I have a little bit of that. Like I really like college football. I love college football. I love watching it. I love the pageantry around it. It's a much different feel than an NFL game. Like I love all of that. And so I don't know what college football is going to look 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And so that's uncomfortable to me. It's nothing personally against Travis Hunter. It's Travis Hunter, and along with all the stuff that most people don't see that I'm seeing right now with the way college football is working and recruiting and transfer portal and coaching and all that kind of stuff. It is unrecognizable from where it was 3 years ago, much less decades ago.
Right. So one of the things that I've talked about it on this show too, but ESPN, I forgot what the name of the documentary was, but it was one of the 30 for 30s. They did something on Walter Byers. Actually, it was about the NCAA, but Walter Byers was the focal point of this part about it. So if you don't know who Walter Byers is, the NCAA in college football, the way you know it, it's because of him. He came around in the 50s, and they did some things to basically make it into a true amateur type of sports. And before it was loosely based, there was a lot of different things going. He created the structure in which we go through today. Now, in 1984 is when the NCAA, under Byers, went and basically made March Madness, the tournament, in the way we know. And they signed a huge, lucrative, to that time, TV deal. Walter Byers was interviewed. Now, the guy who created what this illusion that we know stated at that time, amateurism is dead. This is not what it was intended to be. This is not. See, the problem that I have, per se, is that when the guy who created it told you in 1984, once you started introducing big time money, it was basically what he said, it's only a matter of time where you're going to have to trickle it down. And the money has only grown exponentially. And I think have no problem with that either. But I think that's the reason why you're seeing this, is because it's gotten crazy with schools getting the fit. Like I remember when there was a time when what the SEC schools are making for 1 year for a TV deal was what they got, the entire conference got, and had to split up for bowl season. The money is so, and outside of Alabama, outside of Georgia, like some of these places, outside of very few places, all this money is coming to these schools. And you can argue that it's better than the normal college student, but everybody doesn't have this extravagant football-only facility. They don't have extravagant dorms. They don't have extravagant like food and dining facilities. So they spend the money however they want to spend it. Like that's the school made it and they spend it. So like it's not like, well, the athlete's not getting paid, so but we're taking this money and other people are getting paid. Administrators are getting paid, a lot of other things. And on top of that, I think people keep thinking that the school is paying these kids. The school isn't paying anything. It's a marketing deal with the NIL. So they haven't But with that being said, I
I
get
think I'd
it.
rather the school pay him.
I think it would be more. I think
It'd be
it
more
would be
uniform,
more
more fair.
controlled. It'll be more. But people fought against that so hard that here
Well,
we are now.
the NIL thing is so interesting because when this first started, the thought, when you tell it like this, when you say, okay, here's a student athlete who's not getting paid and he does not own his own name, everybody would go, well, that's crazy. But now it's not, you say the schools aren't paying, but these deals are being done
by schools. Yeah, they're being facilitated by that. And so like the Travis Hunter going to JSU thing, if I'm gonna put it out there, if the rumors are to be believed, anywhere between, let's say, $1 to $2 million. Who knows? It's up to Portnoy to say it, and it's up to him to report it. I have no control over that, but we do know. But it wasn't created by Dion. It was created by David Portnoy, who's also going to Miami and working out stuff with Miami, which is a bigger school, which Florida State fans would be upset.
Dion has an affiliation with Barstool.
That's what I'm saying, but I'm about to go. But it's an affiliation that he's going to create with different things. And I think what I was explaining to people about this, here's the real problem that I have with it. Not the NIL, but I'm hurt that he didn't go to Florida State because I like the kid. He's a good athlete. I don't like the vitriol for the kid and for Dion, and I don't like Dion. Like I always tell people, like when I put something out there, people were like going, yeah. I said, no. Your reason for not liking Dion and my reason for not liking Dion, two completely different things. But they're so hard on Dion, I feel like it's making me defend Dion more. And I say that because I talked to the guys from the Rising Spear campaign for Florida State. It's an outside entity.
Well, before you go, why are people mad at Dion?
They feel that Dion did this to stick it to Florida State. Not that Deion Sanders, who's the head coach of a college football program, went and tried to actively use whatever was in his power to get the best prospects in the nation.
Right.
That's what coaches do. If Dion was the coach at Georgia, actually, you know what? Kirby Smart has Florida State ties. He was trying to get it. But whatever. Florida State has an entity that's made news and made headlines to try to bring and help with NIL opportunities. They were prepared, to help Travis once he enrolled or if he signed. I heard what the number was. Slap in the face. You know why? And like right now, how people are talking to it, you should be more upset with Florida State than you are with JSU or Barstool. And the reason why I say that is think about how much that flip, how much he's been in the news. These kids are not stupid anymore. There's programs you can buy for your algorithms. Matter of fact, somebody pitched an idea about our show and what we should be offering, what we should be charging rates from the people. So when a kid has a dance or whatever this thing is that he did, the little crybaby thing that Pop Warner to pro athletes are doing, that's called viral. That's called influence. When everything he posts, it goes viral and you offer this kid a fraction of Portnoy's not an idiot. If he comes and offers you something, he knows he's going to make 3, 4 to 5 times more.
Are you suggesting that
at Florida State?
No. Are you suggesting that Portnoy would not have done the same deal if he'd have gone to Florida State?
I believe Portnoy wouldn't have thought about it. I'm not a fool. Deion Sanders works for Barstool. Deion Sanders had Travis. I'm going to connect the dots for you. Travis Hunter came and visited Jacksonville State University. Jackson is right, because Jacksonville State beat Florida State. Yeah. So y'all people stop sharing that damn recruiting ranking thing, because Jacksonville State's recruiting ranking is 165, JSU's 161. The 165 school beat us. So relax. But Jackson State, I think it was on their homecoming. I shared a great meme. Brittany Renner was not there. But there was plenty of talent there. And I've said on our show, if you've never been to an HBCU game, go.
To homecoming. Go
to homecoming. If you're even if you could be the whitest of white, if you go, you'll understand why a young, in shape, handsome African American male might want to go. Just saying. But he goes. Deion Sanders gives him this spiel. I'm primetime. I'm one of the most notable alumni from Florida State. I went there during the start of the dynasty era. I brought estimated X amount of dollars to Florida State. I could not benefit from that. You're the next thing coming that's close to me. I can show you how to do this. Here's what your value is. Here's what I have relationships, and he leveraged his relationships. He would have never met David Portnoy had it not been for Deion Sanders, more than likely. And once this happened, David Portnoy has connections at Miami, that the Miami connections reached out to him, and that's how. So it's relationships matter.
See, that all makes perfect sense to me, and I got no issue with any of that. And I think I don't have I don't have a right to have an issue with any of it anyway, because it's not my life, it's not my kid, it's not. I mean, even if it was Florida, I think I feel like I'm consistent enough. I'd be the same way. My agent said something to me that I thought was very interesting, though. My agent said, I asked him, I talked to him the day it happened, and I asked him, I'm like, what do you think about this? And he's like, I don't like it. I'm like, why don't you like it? And it was very simple. He's like, I think the kid's being short-sighted. He's like, I think that whatever he's getting, and the rumors at that time were crazy. They were saying 3 to 5 million, which is nowhere near that. It's much closer, if even as high as what you just said.
Right.
And he said, regardless of what he's getting, he's not getting top 5 money. And this kid, everybody thinks is a top 5 pick. And so are they going to be able to develop him with the resources and the training and all that kind of stuff at Jackson State, like Florida State would have been able to? Or if you even want to go to our argument that we've been talking about, not having a football only at Florida and Florida State, take that to Georgia or Alabama. This kid had every choice. And my agent's point was like, okay, top 5 money when he gets there is going to be $40-50 million. If he doesn't go top 5, then he costs himself a bunch of money. And we have no way of knowing.
I think, we have no way of knowing. And I think in today's NFL, today's recruiting, like people can like and not just football, basketball too. The dad, why can't I think of his name that most people don't like? Ball. Like, I'm not suggesting that the only reason this kid's got drafted high, 2 of them were top 5 picks, was because he was always in the news and he figured out how to market them. But I am suggesting it didn't hurt. I'm like, it's a 1-year deal, right? And if it does what it's going to do, because this is why it's going to do the numbers. Because Florida State fans don't, and I've said this before, the reason why ESPN picks on you is because you don't know how to not look. You're going to, it's like swatting the hornet's nest, knowing you're going to get stung. When they do the documentary, and they talk about the signing they flip, it's going to be written about on every Florida State message, social media thing, including mine with Fifth Quarter. It's going to be written about by Barstool, ESPN, this, that, and the other, Bleacher Report. Everybody's going to cover it. He's going to get the clicks. And you know what happens when you outperform your first contract? Because it's a 1-year deal. You get another contract. You know what happens when you outperform your second contract? You get another one. And what happens is if he can consistently stay in the news and he's dominating, which he will, HBCU ball like he does, and if he goes to the combine and he puts up numbers, somebody's going to take a flyer on him. And the one thing that I remember about working with orthos and working with JOI's always worked with the Jags, and there was a guy who, when I worked with Titus, used to be the team doctor of the Jags. And he was talking about looking at SEC players. What's the one consistent thing? Oh my God, these guys' joints are damaged and shattered. When you think about Alabama players in your mind right now, think about how many Alabama players you see get to that second contract. Think about what people tell you anyway. You go for the second contract. Florida State. Who has Florida State put out that's been a top 5 prospect with all the development? You've had Brian Burns. You've had right now. You got Jermaine Johnson's probably your best bet, and he's a grad transfer. And if it doesn't work at JSU, what you shouldn't have done is bashed him, because he'll hit the portal and he's still going to come to you. And with $1.5 million, you know what I can do? Like the same thing that quarterbacks are doing, right? These schools are doing with quarterbacks for you. They ain't developing them. They sending them to you. In Mississippi, he ain't far from where he can go get the top training. Deion Sanders was doing pro training for DBs. Last time I checked, most people say he's the greatest DB that ever played. So there's not a better coach, and he's got NFL coaches. I hear what people are saying, because that's what, it is better. It's a better brand of talent It's a better. There are facilities that you can go use, but man, when you got that kind of money, I can hire my own nutritionist, and I can go get my own hyperbaric chamber. I can go get a whole bunch of other recovery things that I need.
Well, and the other thing is the money he's going to bring into Jackson State will allow them to. I thought it was so funny when they showed the locker room.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm like, all right. See, this is interesting to me because we got schools spending hundreds of millions of dollars on facilities, and they didn't get the top recruit.
That's where I think the beauty of it is now. And what people aren't paying attention to is, I'm not saying don't. So now I don't feel as bad that we're spending $60 million on a football only facility when Georgia's spending 120 on their next one.
No,
maybe we could take that 60 that's in between, and I don't know, be innovative. Here's and this is I was talking to somebody, and man, I don't know how to say it without saying it, but it's like, I know how to say it. It's what the wealthy do to anybody who's not in the 1%, and what the people who aren't wealthy, who are expected to have results, have to do. All that was making the most out of the little bit you got and swinging for the fences. It's David versus Goliath. A man got 3 smooth stones and threw it, and he hit Goliath, and it knocked it out. Florida State has every resource, has a ton of money, people. They could have pitched that exact same idea to the kid. They didn't. They did not. They thought he was worth X amount, which is fine. We always say it, the market dictates your worth. You thought he was worth X to Jacksonville State.
Jackson.
I keep saying whatever. The damn team in Mississippi where Deion's at, they thought he was worth more. And you didn't need, and maybe you didn't get a chance to pitch it again, but you probably disrespected him with the number.
Well, I kind of respect the fact that he didn't take the Jackson State deal and call Alabama. Or maybe he did. I don't know. Call Alabama, call Georgia, call Florida State. Go, look, I got 1.5 here. What do y'all got? I kind of respect that a little bit. I
really believe he wanted to go to Florida State. I really believe that.
You just think that you think that initial offer was insulting to the point to where it was like,
I don't even think originally it was insulting. It probably was like, man, oof, it's good. But when he let Deion in, it's the way that somebody can talk to you. Like, you own your brand. And it's only one person who can do that. He's a polarizing figure, but he's been that way since he played. Deion can legitimately show you, this is who I am. I made this. I invented swag. And the other part of it is, and this is what I've been trying to tell people, you got to know the language of today's recruits. Mm-hmm. You got to know who to sit. And this is no disrespect. Again, I can only speak on Florida State things. People I love. Kes McCorvey taught me everything I know about sports performance training. Like, the man is amazing. Phenomenal father, phenomenal mentor. There ain't a better Seminole than Charlie Ward. Mm-hmm. Charlie Ward is probably the only person in America I've ever been around that I feel really, really bad cursing around.
Yeah, no doubt. Yep.
Derek Brooks is probably going to be the president of Florida State one day. He is who you want your child to try to mimic from a professional and collegiate standing. Peter Boulware, phenomenal businessman. I'm going to tell you 4 guys that I don't want going to talk to young college athletes about coming to Florida State and living up to the NIL. It's those 4 guys. Now, how to be a Seminole properly, at least when I'm competing against Deion Sanders.
Why do you say that?
Because they don't talk the same way. Now, if I want somebody to be led to Christ, all 4 of those guys are the best people. And I don't mean that Deion's not a Christian. What I mean is they are the guys that you'll put in front, like, I don't know. I was trying to figure out, because I don't want to offend. Those are 4 great men that I have the utmost respect for. But that's like this. It's only one person that we have that's still affiliated with Florida State that could compete with an icon like Deion Sanders. That's Peter Ward. You put Pete in the room with Travis, which is ironic because who lives in Atlanta? Peter Ward. You get Peter Ward to go meet with Travis Hunter, and you talk about his experience, which is newer, it's fresher. He dresses, he talks like the kids talk, but at the same time can translate and talk to wealthy white booster that doesn't feel that's intimidated by this guy. And it's one of the things that I said to him. I says, no offense, it's just different. Deion Deion with the NFL, when he was working with NFL doing the, was it 106 in prime or whatever? Like when he called the
21st.
Yeah, 21st in prime, talked to Jalen Ramsey, talked to these guys. You're not hearing a generational gap. You're hearing the cool uncle.
I got you.
I'm seeing dad.
I got you.
And it's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, I'm put it like this: if I can't get through Trey, like it's actually said the Miles Morales, the cartoon Spider-Man, dad couldn't get through to him. Cool ass uncle could.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things, and you have to you got to be strategic in recruiting. You just got, like, the biggest thing I need Florida State fans to realize: it's not a spit in your face. You just got outgained by Deion,
but y'all still had a decent class, right?
You had a 13th overall class from 5-17.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you were 7-5, you probably land a couple more people, because notably people that are missing in this that we missed on. You missed on Marvin Jones Jr. with Big Marv telling people that you got calling out recruits who decommitted, saying like you either want to make the coffee or you want the coffee given to you. And his son didn't commit.
Where'd he go?
He went to Georgia because Georgia showed him a bigger bag. And I don't mean just like Georgia's got it going. I'm not mad at the kid for going to Georgia. I'm gonna tell you this right here. I'm a Florida State fans. If my sons are good enough, there's probably only one black college that could probably beat you. And if they give me my son $1 million, his ass is going there too. It's not JSU though. If FAMU says that, James, we missed on you, we want to give your sons, and they could give me a presentation to how my son can go there, where his grandmother went, where his grandfather went, damn real. It's not a bad thing.
I'm very interested in what happens HBCU wise over the next 10 years.
Have you seen what Grambling did? They hired the not Hugh Freeze, the former Cleveland Browns.
Oh, Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson, that's huge. Have you seen Tennessee State? They're hiring Eddie George. Like they're like I told, like I was arguing with people before, like because they're like what Deion Sanders brings to HBCUs, which now there's a better argument now with this, like that was. But FAMU inking a deal with LeBron, like HBCUs, to their credit, it's nowhere near the level of what Power Fives are doing, but they're trying to put some G5 money into maybe 10 of the SWAC conference. I'll say, North Carolina A&T left to go to the Big South, which is the SEC of the of FCS.
But where I was going with it is none of this matters. They can put all the money they want to put in it. It's got to be a product that people want to consume. No, it's got to be a product that not people want to consume, that they consume.
Right. And I think with what I mean by that, when they're putting the resources in it, more and more people are going to HBCU's transfers. Like Deion's getting a lot of transfers.
It's so hard though, dude. It's so hard because you
can't see them on TV like that.
Well, and even if they are on TV, like if there is a game, let's say it's let's not involve Jackson State in this. Let's say it's two HBCUs, and then on the other channel there's USC and Colorado.
Oh, you're not beating it.
Right. It's just that it's so hard to build that brand. So what I'm saying is, I hope whatever investments they're putting into this are long-term investments, because you're gonna have to go a whole generation,
right,
being consistent.
I think, which that helps with this, but every HBCU can't do it. The only reason Jackson State can do it, well, they have a history, but like I was telling you, like that's a really long time ago. Jackson State can do it because they got Deion.
All right.
Grambling has a historical place with Eddie Robinson and him having an award and things like that. FAMU being the only HBCU to have ever won a national championship. Howard a few years ago actually beat a FBS school. Hampton. There are schools that have that, and those are the ones that I think are.
I'll tell you where they are making strides. 3 years ago, when you said the letters HBCU, somebody go, "What is that?"
Mm-hmm.
And now, when you say it, everybody knows what it is.
And you know what? It's going to help them too. This is still the funniest thing in the world, and this is why I tell people they really don't understand algorithms, or people are going to write me. But people say institutional racism. This is what institutional racism means. It doesn't mean to your core, like it doesn't mean like you're going to go out and slap a black person.
Right.
That's actual, like, just there. That's blatant racism. Much rather that. Institutional racism means that you don't even know what you're saying or that the systems are putting that. What I mean by that. Do you know that the Celebration Bowl this past Saturday was the highest watched one ever? Jackson State was in it and they lost.
Oh yeah. I didn't know it was the highest rated. No,
they watched not because they like HBCU football. They watched to see Dion lose because he pulled out a prospect. And part of that is like, would you watch Georgia play the national championship because they took Travis Hunter? You wouldn't. You wouldn't do that with anybody else. And I'm not calling you a bad person. I'm just saying, like I was telling people, it's like you don't. I'm trying to tell you, some of you don't know what you sound like, and it's hard to tell you that because then you get battled because it's not.
So you.
Nobody was watching the Celebration Bowl if Travis.
No. What I'm saying. No, I agree with you on that. But you don't think Florida State fans would have been just as angry if this would have happened with UAB? I think so.
UAB maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think so. I see where you're going with it. I understand what you're saying, but
it's just more that, oh my God, because the thing isn't about, like I had one person talk about the academics, and I'm like, wow, do you hear yourself? One person, I love her to death. She's a Swiss person. Her white son goes to an HBCU, goes to Grambling. And I'm like, yo.
It's on a minority scholarship.
Play ball.
Yeah, I mean,
love the kid. Like, I think more people should go. Like,
I'm telling you, if you're watching the show and you are a white, specifically a baseball player, but if you are a white athlete that's having a hard time getting into schools, try HBCUs because they will get minority money for you going there.
Oh, you'll have a great experience. It's dope. Ain't nobody gonna mess with you like you think you are, as long as you're a normal human being.
Hey, one of the most successful guys that I knew went to Edward Waters, white guy, because he grew up, they didn't have any money, and he could get a minority scholarship.
You know the funniest thing? If you go look at the National Guard, Florida National Guard, and you look at all the generals and all the top brass, almost all of them have a secondary education from Edward Waters.
Really?
Yeah, because it's there. It's like it's like it was the education. It was something like, guys, your degree, like you could actually be. There's a lot of successful people that come out of HBCUs. I'm not saying this from a perspective to bash people. I'm just saying, like, yo, like, we missed. Give it 24 hours, 48 hours, and then after that, now it becomes, to me, it's just tongue-in-cheek jokes.
Well, that comfort thing I was talking about earlier, I think it's real, and I think it's real in what you're saying too. Like, it makes people uncomfortable. I don't think it's because it's a black school, although maybe it is because, I mean, most people grow up around people that look like them.
Right.
So if you went to most white people and you said, hey, you can go to HBCU for free, they're not going to go. They're not going to go because it's like, man,
for the first time in your life.
That's a culture I don't know. Right. I'm going to be the one that's looked at like.
Which is why I always tell people, like, when people make like these statements that I feel like this, when people say, nah, no way, it's not my America. Like, dog, go take your ass to go, like, flip it around, like, go somewhere else where you're the only person. You're gonna feel a little nervous too,
right?
Like, you're right. It is a comfort thing, and
I think, like, if I'm being honest, I think 10 years ago, like, I would have been the same way. Now, 90% of my life is spent around black people. It's like, I don't know what happened. Yeah, I am in every room. Like, every room I walk in, I'm like, where's the white people at?
Dude,
that's why I walk.
It's like we have completely different lives.
That's why I watch Hallmark channels. Like, I want to see some damn white people.
It's like I always joke. When I'm going into parties or stuff like that. Like, over under. How many do you think it's going to be? How many of us?
And then a couple years ago, we're like, hey, let's go to the Japanese steakhouse. I'm thinking, okay. Once again, I'm the only white guy in the whole thing.
I think the cool, like, I think really could be good for America because all the black people I know are like me. Like, one, if you find a white person that enjoys something that you actually, my son's godfather is a humongous white man, largest white man I could possibly find. Massive. I actually purposely chose him.
If you screw that over, yeah.
So he actually seasons his food very well, which is, the stereotype. But I always joke with people, say, hey, that man can cook. He told me, he's like, James, you know who I love making brisket for more than anybody else in this world? I was like, my mom. He's like, your mom. He's like, you know why? Because she just overly appreciates it. And it's like, what happens is when we find something, like it's like me with gelato or whatever, we find something white that we love, we're going to talk about it. If we find a white guy that comes in and you love here, like if you're a white person, you love, like, put it like this. If you're a white person and you eat my mom's macaroni and cheese, I know you're a freaking liar because she can't cook macaroni and cheese. And me and my sister ridiculed her so bad that she's never made it again since. But like we experience out loud. I had people dying. There's probably about 10 people that's gone to Fast Eddie's. I had some of the great. That's not normal hummus that I ate. That wasn't the hummus that I've been going to the stores. That was grandmama's hummus. I don't know what they call it.
Good.
Yeah. It wasn't that hummus that I ate. That was crack. The hummus was delicious.
Bro, my dad,
I was in that thing, bro. Like I felt so bad when I left because it was other people there. I was so loud and embarrassing. I'm like, hey, man. Hey, what you put in this hummus, man? I thought I didn't like hummus. I was sitting there, and then they gave me some curry, and they were just so excited because I was excited to experience. And they gave me a bigger bowl of curry chicken and all this other stuff. What I mean is, man, go experience some stuff.
By the way, my dad yesterday, he came over, and I ordered wings.
Yeah,
from
did you tell him the Chinese people made it?
Dude, I didn't tell him anything. I just said, you got to try these wings. The look on his face when he took the first bite, it was the happiest I think I've ever seen my dad.
Danny.
He didn't have that look. He didn't have that look. He looked straight at my mom. He's like, Beverly, this is amazing. And he's like, I can't stop eating. He's going on and on and on and on. He even told me before he left, he's like, I can't have any other wing now.
I'm saying I go there, I'm probably gonna eat that today. It's just again, but again,
Bobby, you were gonna say something?
I was gonna say you said we had 3 games left. Right now we do have the number 1 pick, and they are mock drafting us already. Y'all think we keep it?
No.
Okay. Need to trade back. We need.
Here's the problem though, is it's not a trade back draft. It's like, because forget the mock drafts you're reading. Kenny Pickett is not going in the top 10. It's not happening.
He's number 7.
Yeah, not happening. You know what? I say that if somebody's like desperate and it's a quarterback, my point is nobody's going to give you everything for a quarterback, which is what you need to trade out of that first pick. You know what I mean? Like nobody's going to give up everything they have for a receiver or even a defensive end. They're only going to do it for a quarterback, and there's not a quarterback in this year's draft that's that. But this team needs so much crap that they need to trade as much as they can. They need to trade back to 4 and then back to 8 and then back to 12 and then back. Like keep trading and keep stacking at this point. Real quick before we wrap up, I got an anti-hate o'clock. Can we get to Green Acres?
Anti-hate o'clock.
Yes. Green Acres. Get to Green Acres. If you're last minute Christmas gift, if you don't know what you're getting the man in your life or woman in your life, go to Green Acres and get a gift card. Like that's probably the best thing you can do at this point is go over there, say, I heard about you guys on the Sports Den. I need a gift card and flex on them. Like flex on them. Like, I mean, give them 10% more than you did last year because everything's more expensive.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, like, can't say flex on buy $100 gift card. Like, you gotta. I mean, that gives you some ammo.
People would appreciate that.
Yeah,
I would appreciate if somebody gave me $100 Green Acres.
That get you $100.
Get you a dope knife. There's all kinds of stuff in there for $100.
I want to shoot some more stuff, Z.
So get to Green Acres, greenacresporting.com. If it's not on your Christmas list, put it on your Christmas list. My anti-hate o'clock is this whole Charlie Woods, Tiger Woods thing. Dude, I am so obsessed with this. We talked about this a little bit in the show, but everybody's putting together these videos of their mannerisms and how alike they are. And the thing, not to get all like soft on everybody, but to see how happy Tiger is with that kid is like, it shows a different side of a guy who everybody assumed was a monster.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it is, when I tell you, like, if I go on TikTok right now, like it is going to be, I know it's going to be Charlie Woods because I watch every one of them 20 times and it's got my algorithm now.
Dude, when
and
you
I just want to
me,
keep watching it.
When you sent that, I was like, yo, I need this. Like, that video, it's just, as a guy, like me and Tiger, who was like so influenced by his dad, like all you heard about him talk about, like, you know, he had a mom.
Good and bad, by the way.
But like, yeah, it's just like you love, and in today's society, like I didn't realize how much it's all races, but I only see the black part because that's mostly like how the dad isn't involved and blah blah blah. Like, but I've noticed that it's this theme that people like shit on dads a lot, but like to see like this and then he's picking up where the old man left off. It's like it's really and it's like that nature versus nurture. Like I believe you got to nurture stuff, but it's some stuff that just comes out of a kid that when you're a father and you're paying attention to him, you're like, I know I didn't teach him that. Like that's just in there, and it makes you. There's some things that make you want to beat it out of him. But then there's a lot of things that you're just like, I can't wait to see him use that when he gets older.
They played in the golf tournament this week just to catch everybody. It's like a father-son thing, which the fact that Tiger was able to play is a minor miracle.
That too. I think that does more for it too. Is that
it
you
does.
Know he should
it does. Yeah. I mean, you think about last February and hearing the news that, I mean, at the time people thought he may die.
Right.
Like, so you that definitely plays, but they finished second in this tournament. Who won it, by the way? Was it John Daly and his kid?
I don't know.
That'd be amazing though.
Wait a minute. My favorite golfer, John Daly? Oh, I got to look it up.
Oh, John Daly's kid is legit too.
I bumped that. I just like John Daly.
Yeah. I don't know if they won it or not. I have no idea. But they played in this golf tournament. They finished second. And I would tell you, if you haven't gone and just watched, you can go Google Charlie Woods, Tiger Woods, and there's all these people that have put together these videos of them. They'll show Tiger swinging at the same time they'll show Charlie. They'll show like the way they wipe their nose from their allergies to the way they fist pump to the way they walk to everything. It is so stinking cool, man. It's like one of those videos that makes you want to spend more time with your kids when you realize like how impactful that can be.
11 birdies in a row.
Yeah.
John Daly did one. That just makes me evil. That warms my heart.
And John Daly's kid's just like him.
Built like him or just like smoking?
Yeah, no, dude. Like I mean, yeah. I mean, so yeah, I want to play golf with that.
John Daly is the greatest golfer. My man just did not care.
Oh no, still doesn't.
Like smoking, drinking.
Yep.
That's the way golf was meant to be played with. He's a regular man's man. Like we love Tiger we love Tiger like we love Kobe and we like MJ, but we knew you can buy the shoes, you can buy the clubs, but you're never going to be able to shoot the ball the way they shot. John Daly, Charles Barkley, we can be a fat guy to eat a pizza before we go out and poop.
Right.
John Daly, we can't because they're still that good, but I feel like I could be John Daly.
Yeah.
I know for a fact I'll never be Tiger Woods. You can
definitely identify with John
Daly.
Right. Like that's for dang sure. They say John Daly may be the most talented golfer ever.
I believe it. Like it's
because dude never practices.
To be what he was and to have the success that he had is just.
I mean, he's going out there like hung over with the shakes from detoxing from whatever drugs he was on and still making cuts.
That being said, Tiger was pretty loaded up too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's just cool stuff, man. Just go watch it. Just definitely go watch it if you haven't seen it.
Definitely did.
You got anything else?
Nah, I just really want to say the Jags do have a really good game day experience.
Oh, good.
Like except
for the whole football part.
Sucks that you got to watch the football. It's like if any other team.
Well, if they would have just shown Spider-Man in there,
it would have been great. It would have been much better use of 3 hours than that. Like the sideline stuff, like man, like just again, I went with a kid, so he was experiencing everything. But like, during this holiday season, do your social media stuff, especially when we're on. Watch us, but take some time, spend it with your family. Be a father to your sons. Stop worrying about what other people's kids are doing for a second, and go be a parent. Go enjoy your kids this holiday season. So, like Charlie and Tiger, or watch that. watch other people spend time with their kids.
All right, we'll be back on Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Wednesday, we will be here around 1:00. Make sure you join us. Make sure you share. Make sure you tell people about the Sports Den. We would greatly appreciate it. Bobby, you got anything this week? You making any like appearances anywhere? You doing open mics or? You want to get on the mic and tell people?
Yeah, so they
Instead
can
of
hear
yelling
you
like
clear?
for my neighbors to hear
Yeah.
you.
Oh, thanks, man. Oh, yeah. So I just put out a new episode of the podcast. I'm a comedian, for those who don't know me. The Writer's Block podcast. You got to type Bobby Brown Jr. because I'm not that famous. So you got to, there's already other.
There's another one.
But yeah, so I put that out every Monday. The video goes on YouTube on Tuesdays. And then I'm around Jacksonville doing open mics Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, putting some new stuff together.
Sweet. All right. We will be back on Wednesday. Y'all have a wonderful day.